Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. We'll begin started shortly, just making sure everything's set up and ready to go. So I hope you guys are ready. It is going to be on blast, I can imagine. It has been a couple days, obviously, since we did have our last turn, but obviously that has been due to THG taking a well-deserved holiday in Sandals, I do believe. How's everybody doing there today? Right, here we go. Be ready to go shortly. So, hello there, Carl. Hello there, Keith, Pirate Joe, Snipers, and the Battle Group Gamer. Now, guys, I definitely recommend checking out the Battle Group Gamer on YouTube. He does some fantastic content. Not fantastic. I suppose I could be if I was French. But yeah, he does a great job. Yes, if burning American chips will light the fires in my soulless ginger body. Yeah, my body is ready. That's awesome. I ain't fine, I am awesome. Yes, you are, dude. It's good to see you here again. Hello there, Justin. I wonder if you're working here today then, Justin. I hope not. I hope you have some fine rest on Saturday. Hello there, Foot. How are you doing, my friend? It's good to see you all. So we'll give the fine people some time to get in here. I have just had to send a email over to Makeshift Games, as I did accidentally just start streaming with their Twitch key, which I'm really quite embarrassed about because that's a big no-no. So I did delete that pretty ASAP, but it'll be okay. Hello there, Anno 2070. How you doing, my friends? Here to point out some more pilots missing in squadrons, I'd assume. Right. Okay, so we should be ready to go here. Now I'm looking for turn 15. Ooh, vacation in hell. This is going to be interesting. You're working, but it's your lunchtime. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, no, it's rather embarrassing. I do it every now and then. The issue is it's like with OBS. I need to, like, enable some kind of thing like, are you sure you want to start streaming, you idiot? You're streaming with the Matrix channel. The only issue is, it's like, before I used to have access to actually, like, delete the streams. I mean, not intentionally had that access, but, yeah. I can't write my mistakes anymore. So I have to email them and beg for forgiveness. I'm sure it'll be okay. I didn't swear, so that's nice. Okay, we finally occupied the base there. Xinjiang is occupying the Allies, but we'll be retaken at this turn, actually, so that's going to be fine. So it's going to be a short-lived affair there. I think we're only about 2 miles out from Xinjiang, actually. We weren't very far away with at least a division or more of force. Okay, so torpedo misses over here, so I-173. We do spot a couple of destroyers over here. I'm hoping that we might be able to actually see something behind the actual mask here. The destroyers aren't ever out for no reason. We are seeing ships over here as well. We're seeing ships over here at Suva. 173 here, takes no damage. So we can see here 3 destroyers, so Mugford, Kilty, I think that's Kilty, and Gridley. Okay. It's a shame that V2 torpedoes didn't make contact here. That would have been a rather devastating blow against Mugford. I'd imagine she would have gone down there. I do wish that my submarines wouldn't take shots at destroyers, because it's a shame to use that precious munitions. But still, if they felt they're in a position to take a shot, then I can't really argue. Okay, we've actually been able to intercept the enemy over here. We can see, obviously, some ships over here as well. Ships here and ships here. Right. Whether this is the enemy finding us, I'm not entirely sure, but the I-23 has eluded her pursuit. Right, she's actually out of ammunition here. That's quite handy. Very good, so she can't do anything here. Now, there might be further ships here. We do not know. There might be further ships. We'll see. Looks like a sub-hunting force. Yeah, it does look like one outside of Fiji. I can see our forces merging out there, merging out here. The battleship Congo leaves Kota Baru this turn, so hope for the best there. Ideally, we don't see any submarine interceptions nearby Wake. We did explicitly change our path to avoid that, so hopefully that will be enough. 5 allied ships near Sork, I doubt that one. We have deployed far more in the way of sub-chasers out here to the Straits of Shishima. Right, additional... Ooh, that's a shame. I-166. Okay. So he's definitely reacted to the fact that we did have some pretty good success with our submarines. But for that to have happened, I suppose he might have been somewhat, I don't know, he must have been somewhat lax on his actual sub-security. Or at least he didn't think it could happen, or we just had a perfect storm, really. It definitely did feel like a perfect storm. Okay, our patrol boat has actually made it back over here. We find another destroyer out here at Pago. Now, we do have a good few, submarines out here, so we might be able to do something. Is this a second destroyer? I didn't see the name initially. Kushing. Okay, it's all Kush. Interesting to see that is... Right, here we are. We're unloading at Tulagi. There we go. So the Guadalcanal campaign really begins here. And we should see unloading at Buen as well, ideally. I very much hope that we unload there at Buen. Otherwise, I'm going to be a little bit annoyed because I wanted that to be at the same time. Ideally. Is there a list of mods? Yes. If you go onto my Warner Pacific Discord, if you take a look at the pins, you'll actually be able to see everything that is there, and be able to download it all yourself as well. Okay, so we've landed on Tulagi. At least we have landed there. Hello there, sweet lady Liberty! Yes, here we go. Thank Christ for that. Okay. It looks a lot nicer than I suppose it probably is, but the Malpasa has been torpedoed. At least we are seeing further success here, so that's very good. And one of the torpedoes didn't actually explode, so that was rather intriguing, actually. Yeah, I thought there was a second destroyer there, and here we go, once again. Awesome. I would have hoped that she would have used her deck gun, but this is fine by me. Another kill is always quite handy. It's quite good, actually. We've had a good week for the submarines, actually. Very good week, yep, and she goes down. Now, we didn't see any troops or anything destroyed there, or anything of that nature, but it doesn't always mean that there's nothing on board the ships. It might be that there isn't anything on board the ships, but it might be that there's equipment of some other nature on board. Could always be that aircraft or something like that. Indeed, I-10 has hit something, which is quite nice. It's good, good time for her to actually use her submarines for something useful. We do need to really... I mean, the thing is, it's like my submarines, I need them to actually regain the float planes. A lot of them might have lost them or not have the pilots anymore. So we do need to really go through them and make sure they have the float planes and can run the float planes. Okay, so we're running another sweep over Singapore over here, so again we are seeing no resistance. We'll keep this up though. What we may do is actually rotate the squadrons out a little bit more, but it's going to be one of these things of where if he runs combat patrol while we bomb him, then he's going to be in for trouble. But it's been interesting though. We have suppressed combat patrol over Singapore for 2 days, so we'll see how that goes. The issue is though, of course, that his planes will be resting, so perhaps we'll do it a third time, or perhaps it will stop. I think it's one of these things of where we can only do it so long before the fatigue gets to us. It's just an interesting time really. We do have to make a decision then as to whether we'll continue it or not. There's reasons for it, but I think it comes down to how many Ki-21 2As that we have. Okay, hitting Georgetown here. Nice, that's got there for 20k, 48 lilies. But I think we did send more there, so we might see a second raid. Okay, so we do see 11 casualties inflicted here, just a couple non-combatant. Okay, so at least the additional ones are escort as well. I do find it rather irritating that they do it, like, it should have been the A6M2s for one, or the Ki-43s for the other. Or they all should have gone out at once, but that's not too bad. Nice results there, so we see 32 casualties, 7 non-combatant squads are disabled, 1 engineer squad disabled there. Practically no damage. I'm really hoping that we'll hit Bruin this turn as well, hit the Shortlands. I'm genuinely hoping we'll hit the Shortlands, but it doesn't seem like we will hit the Shortlands yet. Or at all, actually. Which is a shame, because I'd like that to happen. Right, we did just see something there. Hudson Free. Okay, we saw a oil slick there. 5 allied ships there, 2 allied ships. Wood away. Okay, airstrikes. Hello there, Cursor. How you doing, my friend? It's good to see you again once more. Interesting, unable to detect target due to range or weather. So they did have it to target then. Unable to locate target, I should say. Okay, what was that? Reconnaissance over Canton, perhaps? I do need to check that one again. I didn't quite see that. Yeah, indeed, I-10 hit something. That was awesome. She had a dud torpedo, though, which is rather intriguing. Okay, so I do see some ships off of Auckland, which is intriguing. Well, off the north coast of bloody New Zealand, I should say. Indeed, the one by Australia. Right, we're not being intercepted here, but I do not know what we found. Okay, LC ship dead in the water. Oh, right, so that would make sense then. It seems like they must have run out of fuel, but I'm finding it rather intriguing that we can't hit a dead ship in the water. But yeah, we can hit something that's moving. A little bit confused on that one, but hey-ho. Are we missing this? We are actually missing this. How the hell did we miss 3 ships that were not moving? Then again, I suppose even if they're not moving, it's still not the easiest thing to hit, is it? It's a small target. And now we're using 250 kilogram bombs there, which is rather intriguing actually. I wonder why they were actually using the bombs and not the torpedoes. We'll have to definitely double check on that one. Hello there, Money. How are you doing, my friend? Yeah, it seems like it, but they should have been using torpedoes. It looks as though we might have actually missed something there and actually had them still set to use use bombs actually. So we'll double check on that one. At least we didn't lose any bombers there. And it has revealed the fact that those ships are dead in the water. Ah, hello there. Okay, so our patrol boats have detected enemy submarines here. There's 6 of them at least in the area around here at the Marshalls. So the area is becoming quite dangerous, but we will have to continue here. The fuel is on its way, so what we'll have to do is just basically heavily escort the fuel into KYJ. Now, we do have our air anti-submarine warfare, and we obviously do have the patrol boat, so we'll be able to keep this up. He'll eventually have to retreat, especially if we do start inflicting hits. Oh, hello there! Roof Alexander! Fuel cargo burning. Critical damage. Damage to engines. Fuel cargo burning. Oh, beautiful. And another torpedo slammed home there from I-15. Beautiful. Right, Cushing has not been able to save her target here. Right, so we do take some damage here, but that's unfortunate. Ideally, it's only light damage. We should be able to then move her. Right, wow, she's actually taking some heavy damage there. That's not good. That's really not good. The, yeah, 3 hits on the I-15 there. But we do get 2 solid hits into the Roof Alexander. And that looked like a fairly nice transport there. And now it did note that that was fuel cargo burning. So that's good. If she's not dead, she's going to be dead. Yep, she goes down. Our midget sub... Okay, so she's been hit by the... Yeah. It's about time the midget submarine HA-24 went down. I mean, she's been there for a very long time. She's been there since the start of the war, actually. I don't even know how the crew is still alive. Yeah, she's been obliterated. I'm not quite surprised about that one. I do find it rather amusing that she can actually sink while she's underwater. It's like... I like the animation, but that looked rather amusing. Okay. Oh, so she finally does go down. That's a shame. She actually made it to port. Right, fantastic. We actually make it to the Shortlands as well. Now, that's exactly what we needed. So 15 casualties there. So 1 squad was destroyed as it unloaded onto the beach there. But we have been able to make it to Tulagi and Buen this turn, which is exactly what we needed here. We need these things to run side by side. We need to really have this scare the ever-living hell out of him. Now, we are seeing a large number of ships. Wow, look at that. Now, this is a pain train that's going towards Chengchao. So, yeah, he's going to be a little bit worried now, I'd imagine, because that is a large amount of pain coming. 95,260 troops attacking, 1,096 guns, 1,186 vehicles, total assault value 3,256, 2,447 to 1. Yeah, that unit has just completely been annihilated. That is 619 casualties reported there for the Allies. We take not a man lost. As you can imagine, that's not exactly surprising considering that we had a humongous force there. Ideally so. He'll know about it. He'll know it's coming. There's not anything he can do to stop that either. We can win the campaign here in China, and we will win the campaign here in China. Okay, so I'd imagine his forces are going to be pulling back soon. we're going to keep up this bombardment here just to really try and hurt them. As you can see here, 2 squads are destroyed, 7 disabled. And so who's hurting? Once the rest of the 38th Division arrives over here at Wuchao, we'll be able to carry the fight on, reform the division. Okay, so we have our deliberate attack here at Georgetown. Yep, this is looking good. The fortress will fall here. Banzai indeed. Yes, they've surrendered. There we go, so 397 casualties there, and not a man lost from the attacking force here. Fantastic, yeah, I'm not surprised they surrendered. They had nowhere to go. So overall, quite a nice turn so far. Will we see the Shortlands and Tulagi taken, or are they just ours now due to the fact that there's no enemy forces there, perhaps? So San Fernando's expanded, and we did see another base there, another air base actually expand. Banzai indeed. So overall, an actual good turn for us. We didn't really take any losses, perhaps. We did inflict some losses upon the enemy. We sank 2 transports. I mean, one of our submarines did get destroyed. Obviously, that was a midget submarine, HA-24, which had been there since the start of the war, actually. So obviously, that was always going to happen. She couldn't move, and she was dead in the water. Much as those light boats off the coast of Singapore were, but unfortunately, we still did not hit them. But it has revealed the fact that our G4M1s there, or the G3M2s there, aren't using torpedoes. So we'll have to take a look at that situation there and assess it rather quickly. Yep, here we go. So, new forces arrive in. Hong Kong detachment arrives, special base force arrives. Yep, here we go. This base forces. Yes, this is what we need. Fantastic, okay. Oh, that is amazing. And so our new, an actual bloody new base forces have arrived in the region. That is amazing. Ever watched the HBO series The Pacific? You know what? I've been trying to watch that. Is it a HBO show? Because that must be why then. Because I looked on like Amazon and I couldn't find it. I just can't seem to find it. Okay, so we are on the island here. We will take this. We'll have to go into shock attack next turn. But we are in the Shortlands. We're also at Tulagi, and there's no resistance here. It's a shame that we didn't immediately capture the base here, but we will take it then, obviously, immediately next turn. Now, what we can do here then is really assess the situation. We can choose to actually unload additional supplies here, or we can choose to just move on. Okay. So we have seen... Right, there's a cruiser mine layer here. We are aware then that definitely there are ships in the port. We see at least a cruiser mine layer out here. We see aircraft are here at Pagopigo. Now, one of my submarines did take damage, so let's take a look then. Just look at this, we have a huge amount of force here now. I mean, 4 submarines, that is actually rather impressive. Okay, so I-15 was the one that took the damage there. It seems like, yes, her... Yeah, a third of her forward-facing torpedoes have been knocked out then, so I'd just say, yes, that's 2 of our torpedo bays, well, torpedo tubes have been knocked out. So that's a shame, she has taken damage there. Not too much damage, we might consider actually pulling her back, but the thing is she's still able to fight on here. So we can see, he has detection over I-15, but he has no detection over I-25 nor I-170. What we may do then is actually pull those 2 submarines out from there, and perhaps go and knock in elsewhere. We are going to have to cover the, I think we need to cover this, I don't know, we need to cover both sides of New Caledonia. I do have a submarine on the way, but what I'll do is actually, well, we've been patrolling this side of New Mare for some time now. What we are going to do then is actually change this up, and we'll patrol this side of New Caledonia. The other submarine that will arrive will cover this side here. We'll have it very close to New Mare, really. I do need to really prevent any sort of reinforcement here. I mean, the thing is, I don't have a bloody clue what is here or isn't here, so we need to, obviously, I don't know. It's one of these, it's like, how can you prepare for something when you don't know what might be there? But we'll try and do the best here. Could group the 4 subs into 2 groups of 2 for a hunter-killer role? Perhaps. I have no idea how effective that is, but it might do. Yeah, the float plane's damaged. That's a shame. Okay, so 2 enemy units here. We have lost sight of the ships that were over here at Suva. I don't think they've headed out, but they might have done. Now, I do see ships... That's very interesting. That is extremely interesting. Okay. Right, now, supposedly, there's a battleship here. I don't know whether that's actually reliable information, or it might be just simply a misidentified heavy cruiser. I wonder... On top of what's already in New Mare, There's the fact that it's the closest island to Australia that you're interested in, yeah, definitely. And imagine, I mean, I've been wondering about this today, actually, and I think we do need to speed up this operation now, especially as we have landed here at Buin and Tulagi. It's a shame that we haven't had these bases fall to our control this turn, which is interesting considering that there was no resistance here, but I suppose because there was no resistance, there was no battle, therefore the base hasn't been transferred yet. Any SSBN sightings? No, not yet. We haven't seen anything particularly interesting. I mean, supposedly this is a battleship, but I find that hard to believe. By the way, guys, Tortuga Power is a fantastic content creator. I definitely recommend checking them out if you're not already aware of them, which I find hard to believe. The guy's freaking massive. Okay, so you can see here the hunter killers over here to the north end. So, supposedly an AP, I doubt that. APD there. Okay. Now, I do have my submarines headed out to the American coastline here. We are really looking to increase the activity around the San Diego, basically around the LA area and the San Francisco Bay Area. Ideally something in the north as well would be quite nice at some point. Okay, so we have recently just taken Georgetown, which is good. What did we gather here at Georgetown? So the base has been quite heavily damaged. We have scored 3,650 units of fuel here. We do have quite a large airfield, which is quite nice. Quite a good port as well. The port is actually undamaged, which is pretty good. Relatively undamaged. Very handy. Okay. I like that. The irritating thing is we have to garrison the Georgetown base, but that's not too bad. Okay, so how do we go here towards, is it Taiping that we're heading to? Yes, Taiping. Okay, so we're still about halfway there. That's not too bad. Now, we didn't see any renewed action over here at Mersing. Did we see our reinforcements actually head down there to Mersing? That's the question. Fast transport is still loading troops, okay. So they will be going in there next turn. At the moment, they're currently carrying 588 troops at the moment. So another 600 troops at least will be headed down here. The good news is, this respite has given our men some time to actually rest and recover here. They do still have fairly high levels of disruption and fatigue, especially the fatigue, but the turn there of actual rest has been very, very useful. It has given us that time just to actually, as you can imagine, rebuild our strength. So as you can see here, the assault value has increased due to that lull in the battle, so you can now see that we're up to 127 assault value. Obviously that is doubled due to the jungles, so very handy. What's the general state of affairs for XTRG this turn? Actually pretty good, very good actually. We haven't suffered in any way, really. We have had some success, which has been quite good. Okay. Let's see. Now we're still seeing a lack of supplies over here at Sok. Now we did see the battleship Congo finally leave Kota Baru, so she's going to be on her way back to Hong Kong. Well, she's going to be on her way to Hong Kong to undergo repairs, which is going to be fantastic. So the Congo once again sails the open sea. The good news is that we now have... Right, okay, obviously we do need to take a look at the fuel situation here. We should have refueled over here. Tactical refuel has been achieved. Our oilers are just... Yes, they're here as well. Okay, so they don't have much in the way of fuel then. That makes sense. Obviously they use the vast majority of it. Okay. We've definitely transferred fuel. We'll be able to take a look at the operations log to really decide how much has been transferred and what's really happened. And we do have our submarines on the way back to Saigon to actually rearm, and also to refuel, and of course we are going to be taking a look at using the midget submarines in the future. Yeah, that path, what I'm going to do is have the battleship Congo actually split off and head into Hong Kong, and the rest of them are going to be headed to Kao. The reason they're headed to Kao is, of course, we do have our LSD over here, the Shinshu Maru, which is the one and only landing ship dock within the Imperial Japanese Navy. This behemoth war is definitely worth her weight in gold. She's going to be extraordinarily useful in the future should we actually be able to keep her alive. She'll be extraordinarily good and enabling us to basically take enemy-held islands, disgorge large amounts of men very quickly. Okay, so the cannon detachment has finally arrived here. As we can see, they do have a fair amount of... is that the fatigue? Yes, 25% fatigue, so obviously they're not going to be fighting too particularly great. There's about 1,000 men here on the island. Well, sorry, at the base here. We do have numbers that could probably take that. But I'm going to wait for the rest of the reinforcements to arrive here. In the meantime, I'll give them some chance here just to actually rest and recover that fatigue. Okay, so the 116th Division, sorry, the 16th Division, fresh after their victory at Manila, is marching on towards Clark Island. What bonuses do LSDs have? I can't give an accurate statement on that. As far as I know, and as far as I've seen, they just unload at a superior rate in terms of amphibious landings. Yeah, the bit. I mean, I wish it was a portable. If it was a portable dock, I'd be super happy. But it's basically It's like an amphibious landing ship, of course, but your ships are disgorged, so your troops are disgorged faster and at a higher rate, so therefore, let's say that you have 1,000 men on a old-to-no transport, let's say they put down 20% a turn or 50% a turn, the LSD might put down 60-70% a turn, it might even put down the entire damn thing per turn, who knows. We'll find out more about that as we go on, really. Okay, so, fantastic news here. The 23rd Air Flotilla is just 2 days shy now of Bab al-Dawab. So the good news is in about 2 days we'll have increased amounts of air support over here, so aviation support over here at Bab al-Dawab, which is going to be great. We'll also have the increased engineers, so obviously can continue to really expand these projects. Now the airfield is at size 5 right now, which is fantastic. That means I should actually, with sufficient supply, which we actually do have here, we'd be able to potentially upgrade our aircraft, which would be good. Okay, so the Saigon Maru is about to arrive down here as well. She's going to be extraordinarily useful in the campaigns to come. And an additional aviation tender over here is on her way. That's what I like to see. So, the main thing here is our campaign has finally kicked off in the south. So with our landings here in the San Juan Island and that Guadalcanal, we'll take the base here, so that'll secure another port and another port over here. Now, granted, there are no actual airfields here. That doesn't particularly matter because I can actually base my float planes here. So with the float planes, we'd be able to take a look over into the Coral Sea, and that's going to become quite important in the days to come, actually. So you can see here our force is a little bit spread out. Yeah, it's an issue with the speed here. It looks like they might have slowed down to allow them to catch up, but that's not too bad. USS Lexington, did you sink it? We've actually not seen any sign of the American carriers for a long time now. But we are moving now towards New Caledonia, I should say. We do have 4 battleships. I mean, in this immediate area, within about 80 miles, we have 4 battleships. What is that? 5 heavy cruisers. Light cruiser. Yeah, so 4 battleships, 6 fleet carriers, 5 heavy cruisers, a light cruiser, and a good number of destroyers there. Additional destroyers there, and the cruiser miner is going to be extraordinarily handy. We have an additional heavy cruiser here, so 6, 7, yep, and another destroyer. So in this area we have 4 battleships, 6 fleet carriers, 7 heavy cruisers, a light cruiser, and a good number of destroyers to boot as well. So a huge amount of force there, some 400 aircraft as well, which is going to be amazing. One thing I don't know much about, if done all is giant hospital ships in World War II, was there any I can see the British converting ships? I would say definitely, I'd say there was definitely something of that nature. I mean, I know definitely that there were ships used as prison transportation, so basically, obviously, you'd have prisoners of wars transported over them. But again, it's one of these things, it's like, do they have a ship dedicated purely to that purpose? I do not know. The US military has a few of these giant hostile ships like cruise ships. Interesting. Hello there, Roland Dutchy, how you doing, my friend? Alfonso, how you doing? Anything important last turn? Well, we have finally landed, as we just touched upon here. We have finally made our landings out of Solomon and Guadalcanal. And we did actually sink a nice ship up here at Pago, which is quite good. So we do have our 4 submarines out here. He's only aware about 2 of them, so we'll be able to make some good noise there. Now, we do see a force over here, which is rather interesting. The good news is, let's take a look at this. So this is the enemy task force over here. So we'll assume that battleship is actually a false report and assume it's actually a heavy cruiser. So they are 22 hexes out from New Caledonia, so New Maya. There are 25 hexes out here from Suva. Now, Kirubutai, just for example here, is about 18 hexes out. And about 18 hexes out from Suva, which is fantastic. So we'll be in this area in the next few days, really. I'm half tempted to actually increase the pace of this progress, but then again, I suppose it's not particularly worth the the fuel here. We are going to have to look at actually siphoning some of the fuel from these transports. The good news is, because we have so many of these transports, I can actually take a lot of their fuel and use it elsewhere. Like, for example, we have 2 transports over here that aren't exactly doing anything. They're not really carrying anything as far as I can see, so that's going to be handy. At least we can actually draw the fuel from them and not worry about that. During the Iraq invasion, we part of you that could help thousands of ships and civilians. Interesting. And you're sending subs into the tiny islands like Pico and Suvan the other ones. It would be worth it as some troop transports. See, the thing is, we didn't actually see a attack here as such in the port. We'll go through the combat report. Well, actually, yeah, we'll go through the combat report. So obviously saw this one, 173 off Nardi. No actual kills there. But we can see that he has at least 3 destroyers in this area that we know about now. We saw by Kona, which is the Alwyn, which was obviously near the Hawaiian Islands, basically. But his destroyer here has run out of ASW ammunition. We can see 166 did encounter the Evertson. She did launch 4 torpedoes, which is unfortunate as well, because frankly it's like I would rather them be saved. The I-15 did evade the Cushing. She launched 2 torpedoes over here, and we can see then later the amphibious landing, yes, okay, I-10, she finally does actually hit a target here, the Mapesa, which she then finishes off later, which is fantastic. And then we see our morning air sweeps over Singapore. Unfortunately, they didn't come into contact with anything here. Thank you very much for that, Dave. I would actually show your link there, but due to the fact that I'm actually in full screen, I can't tab out just tonight. I mean, I could tab out, but we'll do it later. Yeah, so Dave, ladies and gentlemen, has posted a link to the channel there. So if we're going to go ahead and take a look at it, that's probably a good idea. Okay, so the G3M2 now's out here. They were carrying bombs, so we are going to have to change that and address that situation. Okay, so the I-15. She did suffer 3 hits in turn, which did knock out 2 of her torpedo tubes. But she did actually take down the Roof Alexander. Now, I don't know anything about the Roof Alexander. I think she went down. I'm pretty sure she's probably gone down. I mean, 2 torpedo hits, yeah. She's either extraordinarily damaged, or she's already gone down. Heavy fires, heavy damage. We did see fuel burning as well, so that's quite good. I mean, it did say a critical hit. It said something in the region of engine damage as well, so that did hurt. So you can see here that our death stack is on the move, so we have 95,000 troops here. These men did not stand a chance. You take a look at these numbers. These numbers are extraordinary. Yeah, the sheer amount of vehicles there. He knows the end of Chengchao is going to be approaching. He knows it's only a matter of time now. And of course, the attack of Wujiao. Okay, yep, and no casualties taken over here. So frankly, it's been a very positive Japanese turn there. Which is quite good. We are starting to have more and more of these positive Japanese turns, which is very good. It's obviously what we need. Now, we can see that Baker Island's complaining about the lack of resources, which is actually, yeah, that's a really big deal. Okay. And we might be able to fly some supply out here. That might be the way to actually look at this situation. How much are we actually using? How much do we need here? So I don't need a huge amount, so we'll fly some supply in here. I mean, they are rest and training, so obviously their supply consumption is reduced. And these guys are doing the same as well. We'll have them move out here in a short period of time, I'd imagine. Well, ideally, we are moving in down here towards New Caledonia. I'm half tempted to actually increase the pace at which we move here. We don't have a huge amount of fuel though, so that's the issue. I can't really waste it. Did Akagi have 11? Because I'm sure it was actually orange. That looks like a little bit of that damage has been repaired there. I'm sure this was orange before. I'm sure it was like 11. Interesting. So we have Tamada Yamaguchi still leading Kidabutai. Interesting. We know exactly where we're going to be taking Kidabutai. She will be heading, she'll be heading to, is it 123159 or is it 122159? It's somewhere about here. Yeah, it's somewhere about this position here that Kidabutai will be ultimately heading to. And the reason for that is it actually is going to allow us to just support the landings over here at New Maya, as well as destroy anything heading out from Fiji. Ship crews would work indeed. How much were those transports worth? Check their stats. Yeah, we'll take a look at that. So, Uno Memento. So, ship sunk. Now, we did lose our midget crew. But that's fine. Okay, so we can see here. Wow. Okay, they're actually worth quite a decent amount. So, the Malpasa was a Dutch cargo ship. Yep, she had a very large capacity there, 7,580. Very nice. So that's actually a good kill there, good kill. 7,550 tons ship. Yeah, good kill there, good kill. Aircraft capacity 0, troop capacity 0, but cargo. So she wasn't capable of carrying any troops, but yeah. I mean, imagine if you had all that cargo in there. Let's say he had like over 7,000 tons of supply there. That would have hurt. It would have been irritating nonetheless. But that's good, that's a good hit. At the end of the day, the more opportunities we have like this to actually take down some of his ship in the better. He's gonna just laugh this off and say it's not worth anything, but again, this is just additional victory points, and it denies him the ability to use these ships. Okay, so the Roof Alexander. Now, the Roof Alexander wasn't as large of a ship. She can carry 5,600 tons, so not too bad. I mean, obviously that's quite a high endurance ship there. So we must have hit the fuel and oil there, so she must have been carrying that. Now, supposedly 0 aircraft capacity, 0 troop capacity. So basically these were, as far as we know, pure troop transports, but that's still good. I mean, we don't know what she was carrying. She might have been carrying something else, or she might have been just carrying purely supplies. But I'd imagine out here in Pago, and just out here in Fiji, I'd imagine he's not got the largest amount of fuel. I mean, this is a thing that we have to consider here. It's like, we don't have much in the way of endurance. Of course we don't. But the thing is, neither will he. He'll have a certain amount of endurance out of this area. But he's not built this area up until we actually started showing interest in it. Which is actually rather intriguing due to the fact that, well, it's not left him in such a great position as to base large amounts of naval units here. He's going to have concerns regarding fuel, same as we are. I can guarantee that one. Well, at least I'd say I could guarantee that one. I'd say it makes sense. I'd say it makes sense. I probably thought that at midway too. Oh dear. Well, this is it. I'm coming round more and more to the idea that perhaps we need to take control of the Hawaiian Islands. And what I mean by that is we need to take control of Palmyra. Palmyra, and I'd say Johnston. We can actually see activity over here. We do see a large amount of destroyers here. We see 2 destroyers there, 2 destroyers there, so 4 destroyers in total, but that's still saying that there's an additional 2 ships out here. So he has 4 destroyers out here. Why would he have 4 destroyers out here? That's what I find rather intriguing. Hello there, Finnish Jaeger. How you doing there, my friend? I wish I could go back and watch return results and go back to the live stream. How are the Megalmies and what's their plans? We'll be taking a look at them shortly, actually, if you'd like. Right, I do find that interesting. We also did see some ships actually heading down here. And we know that something's heading down towards Palmyra, so we are trying to brace ourselves to intercept it. Okay. Now, I'm very happy about these guys. Not the Naval Fortress, sorry, but the actual base forces that have arrived. These guys are great. They're not very large, but you know what, that is amazing. That is awesome. So we have 8 engineer squads here, and that is just amazing. Like, not a large amount of infantry, but even then, that's not too bad. At least they come with some AA guns, some automatic machine guns there, obviously AA machine guns. They actually have a 37mm Type 94 AT gun, as well as 2 81mm mortars, and obviously some SNLF. You get a big tongue-tied there. But that's very good, very good. In the future, I think we'll be able to actually combine these units and create special base forces with the SLF, but I think it might only be a Pacific unit, well, specific units. Yep, we have another base force over here, much the same. This is exactly what we need. 4 destroyers, sub-hunting, transport supplies, reinforcements doing nothing forgotten. I doubt they'd be forgotten. I can't imagine he'd forget anything at this point, and which is why it does really rather intrigue me as to why there's something here. Now, we have, for the most part, really peeled off the amount of submarines that we have around Pearl Harbor. I think what we'll do with the 3 submarines that are around Pearl Harbor is obviously have them hug the island quite closely, and just to try and spot anything going in, or going out, really. I think that's what we need. Because, well, we don't have much in the way of information. I'd like to take Johnston. Johnston is only 19 hexes out from Pearl Harbor. But the thing is, I'd say we need Johnston. I say, we already have Midway. We need Midway, which we have. We need Johnston, and we need Palmyra. I think our strategy in the future is going to be one of trying to really prevent DHG being able to amass his forces here. He'll be able to send them to Pearl Harbor, but we need to harass them. We need to actually have prior warning of what is to come. He might have the largest fleet in the world, but he can do some mean damage against an island, don't get me wrong. He could definitely do a mean amount of damage. But the only way he's going to be able to take that island if he lands troops. So that's at least something that works in our favour. So if we have Midway, Palmyra and Johnston as outposts for the Japanese Empire, we can use them to actually identify threats early. We could even potentially use them to actually harass the enemy. But we need this information because there's quite a lot of distance to cover here between Johnston and the Marsh Islands. And this is the only island between Pearl Harbor and KYJ, for example. So taking control of Johnston would actually be extraordinarily beneficial here. Yeah, that's the way it looks around Pearl also. Okay. Now, the garrison over here at Savai is still doing well. There's been no attacks here. What I'm going to do then is just put them into rest mode. How much do I have here in supply? I have 888 tons of supply still. Now, I don't think we're using a huge amount of supply due to the fact that we're not in any sort of combat state or any constructions taking place. It's a shame that we did see our destroyed go down here, and the 2 cruiser mine layers, and then as well the bloody transport. So we did lose we lost a few ships to actually take Savai. So ideally we can actually recognize their sacrifice and repay it in kind. Now we do see potentially a cruiser mine layer here. If I could destroy that, would be very handy. Because the fact is, if he actually brings this cruiser mine layer and actually does begin to, well, lay mines of these islands, assuming that they already don't have any, how that's going to hurt. Well, we can try hitting them in port with submarines. It's like, we can try. We did set a submarine to do it, but we didn't actually see go into the port, as far as we can see. We are trying, though. I think it was I-15, but I don't know. It's hard to say. Did we actually intercept it out here, or did we intercept it in the port? We'll double check. Whereabouts was it now? Right. So that was in Malpasa. So that was a ASW attack. So obviously that was the Cushing actually intercepting us. Which is interesting actually, because that was an ASW attack. So I don't think she was actually escorting the transport there. So I wonder if we actually did make it into the port and actually attack. I'm trying to find it now. Sub-attack near Pago. Okay, so that would suggest to me that we actually did make it into the port there. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that being an actual... Interesting, so we'll consider actually doing this again. Also, we did take damage there. Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, this is why she did take damage. We know there's a natural destroy here, but we did inflict some damage, so that's good. Hello there, Paul. How you doing, my friend? Putting the subs inside the port is deadly, but also risky. If they get spotted, they would be dead without being able to do anything. Yeah. We did get out of there. We did take damage, so we did take a fair amount of damage, so we do need to bear that in mind, but she has suffered about... well, she suffered the loss of about 33% of her capability, which is why I think we'll be sending in the midget subs in the future, actually. Alright. Yeah. The midget subs will be very handy in the future. We need to make a lot of use of them. Okay, so our forces over here. We're making fairly good progress here, about 3 hexes per day. It's not bad. See, the issue is we don't have much in the way of actual supply here. So what we need to do here then is actually start to dispatch our supply already, actually. No, I do have... Right, so that's the same force I just looked at there. 1,000 tons of supply there. Yeah, we don't have much in the way of supply here. So what we are going to do then is have the supply begin moving ASAP. Okay. Yeah, these guys need to be moving. Okay, so you arrived here, you're unloading. The cruiser mine layer arrived there too. Right, you're unloading your supply at the moment. Tanker over here unloading fuel. We can see here that Tanawa is actually happy now when it comes to fuel and supply. Troop transport over here. So her unloading has stopped. We'll tell her to continue. Well, actually, no. And she's actually very quick. 17 knots. The Osaka Maru has arrived here as well, so she's unloading. Okay, what we might do here then is have... let's see, the Osaka Maru, how much can she carry? A few thousand tons of supply. We might have the AMCs actually undertake this journey to head down here. We are going to be feeling the supply pinch here. It is going to definitely hurt, but we are going to have to try and rely on the fact that ideally he has actual supplies here in New Caledonia. Yeah, it's going to be rough. The thing is, I didn't want to actually dispatch them immediately, but I think we'll look at dispatching them now, just to get them underway. So they'll be a few days behind, but at least they'll arrive. Okay, so I've been making decent progress there. 3 hexes per day. That's not too bad. That new sub-movie with Gerald Butler was good, and it shows how Russians protect their ports nowadays. What was that film, actually? I don't think I've seen it. Sounds good. If you could actually put that film on Discord, obviously like the IMDb link, I'd love to take a look at it. So it sounds interesting. Do love a good film. I mean, I really enjoyed Red October. That was always a good one. That's a proper classic. Okay. Right, we didn't see any air-to-air combat, did we? I don't think we did. Okay, actually, I thought we would have arrived at Xinjiang this turn. I'm sure we're only 2 miles away last turn. Odd. We'll be there shortly anyhow. Hunter-killer, I think. That sounds cool. Right, it looks as though he's actually trying to get the hell out of the area here. So let's take a look then. So if I was to move directly on Chengchao, do we see a river? Right, we do see a river, so we can't move directly on towards Chengchao. So we're going to march to the south of Chengchao. Yep, no river here. So march, set all to this mode, all to follow the 12th Division. There we go. So we have the 12th Division now leading our combined force there. I mean, that's a pretty damn decent force. That's a decent army. We still have a decent amount of force over here as well, just to try and prevent him counter-attacking, as we do not want that to happen. I can see there 157,000 troops. But you can see here he has no armoured fighting vehicles. He has, what, a quarter of our artillery, if that. It's going to hurt. So he has a decent number of fighters out here. Okay, so the 38th on its way. Now, I did need to actually concern myself for the garrison over here at Canton. I accidentally did move the vast majority of them out there, by mistake, of course. So they're moving to Canton. It's not going to take them long to get there. Now, Hong Kong has seen reinforcements arrive, which is very good, in the form of the Hong Kong detachment, which is going to be awesome. Love to make some use of that. Okay. Now, do you guys have any questions so far? Because we've had a lot go on here, it's been really quite good. As we can see here, the fortifications have been expanded so far, so we're 45% way into size 3. If we take a look at the airfield, we're 51% into size 5, which is awesome. Okay. A few engineer vehicles here, a few engineers, very good. So the Hong Kong detachment. It's just aviation support at the moment, but that's not bad actually. I can make use of aviation support. Yep, okay, so you can see here required is 25, actual support here is 0 at the moment, so obviously that unit is not yet active, but it will be next turn. That's going to be good. Ah, there we go. So we have arrived here at Wuchao. We can see that he has 8 enemy units here. So the 22nd Division's in place. We'll have them obviously just defensive value. Well, yeah, just run defensive. The question is, how far away are we? Ah, right, okay. So we're not there yet, so we are going to have to march again. Okay, set all to follow. Set all to the same mode. Set all to follow. Okay, so currently planned for Chushan. What we'll do here then is plan for Wenchao. And there we go. Is there any way you can convince my boss to not make me go back to work? I mean, you could make me your boss, and then I could say, don't get back to work. I mean, that could work. Maybe. Right, we have seen a lack of garrison here. I did wonder if that unit was meant to go there. Assault is 46. You're not needed here. I'll have this unit actually head here then. I might have had them head to the wrong location then. Thankfully they're not too far away. See you later there, Justin. Have a good one, my man. Okay, so we can see the enemy submarine over here. We can see that they actually have not entered into the Straits of Tsushima. And we'll be able to use that against him. Okay, loading up over here. Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, if we take a look, we have Changshan over here, and we have Chengzhou over here. The only reason... Well, the thing is like, we are going to be taking Chengzhou first. The reason we're doing this is because this is the lifeline of China. If we secure this rail line here, then I can move troops from, let's say, all the way in Korea, all the way down here to the heart of China. Once we have that capability, the pace of the campaign is going to actually pick up to quite a significant degree here in China. Because I'll be able to then begin amassing forces to actually begin the push on Changsha. And this is the only area of Changsha, well, this is the only area of China that we actually care about, which is the Changsha area. And once we have control of that, we'll actually have additional resources. We'll have light industry, heavy industry here. And this heavy industry and light industry is going to be producing supply here in China, which is very, very handy. Because we have to be able to use that to fuel our progress there. Xinjiang was taken from us, unfortunately, but we will retake it in the meantime. It's not going to take as long. We can see here that at Ishang, he currently still has a large garrison there, 175,000 men there. This force of 33,000 men is trying to move in there to get the hell out. The 6th Division is behind it. No, I could chase them. Actually, no, we can actually launch an attack next turn. Fantastic. Yeah, that's exactly what we need. So the 34th Division is now going to be rejoining our forces here to the north, and then they can march back to Hankow. Right then, so set everybody to this mode. Set all of them to follow the 34th Division. Yes, there we go. As we can see, these guys have 100% planned in for Chang. We will retake a Chang one day. The issue is, well, this river is very dangerous. Now, these troops here, as you can see here, there's a river, so we do need to obviously watch out for that. It might be worth it to actually hold the 6th Division here at this point. The Chinese then may have to cross the river. Let's take a look. This terrain, WD. So let's take a look at what that actually means. WD. WD is forest, okay. So woods. And we can see here that obviously our defensive value does double in that area. So that's quite handy. So an entrenched division here would be good. The good news, it actually holds the gates open. So 425 assault value, 148 additional as well. That'd be excellent. And we'd be able to hold this open and use it against him. I brought up the USS Lexington, but I realise now that was one of your old playthroughs against the AI. Yeah, it's actually been a long time. I know it's a shame, isn't it? It's like I had such a amazing start to that campaign and didn't actually realise it. But we are now quite a few turns into this campaign against THG. I mean, we're on the 31st of December, which is actually rather impressive. It's been a real long time in the making. I mean, it's like we started this in, what was it now? September last year, I believe it was, and here we are still in December. But you know what? Tomorrow, the next turn is going to be January 1942. How crazy is that? We'll finally be in January 1942, and there's much to come. Much to come. Yeah. And that's what I'm thinking. If I hold this hex here, I can then cross down here to the south. If he wants to leave Ijang, he has to cross through my men here. So we occupy the position here. I mean, this is like the gates of Mordor. The Black Gates. We'll hold that. Indeed, Happy New Year. It's not far away, is it now? Not far away. Okay, Samar's finally happy. We've got the supply there that I buggered up earlier on. Yeah, then I'm happier. Much happier. We've had some very interesting ups and downs. We've learnt a lot, I'd say. Yeah, I'd definitely say we have learnt a lot, because it's like we did... It's one of these things, it's like I've learnt so very much since starting this campaign. And, I don't know, maybe this time next year I'll know even more, and that's going to be amazing. It's been so much fun actually learning together with you guys. And that's what I enjoy here, is that learning process. We've been able to do this together, and this is a joint campaign. Sorry, I'm getting all tongue-tied here, I'm getting all emotional. Just have a little bit of water just so I don't get tongue-tied. Ah, there we go. But yeah. This has been a joint campaign. It's not just been me making the decisions here. It's like, believe it or not, I do listen to you guys, I do take your advice on board, and I do take your suggestions, and I think we very much work things out together. We always come up with something that works best for us all, that keeps everybody happy, and ultimately will work to serve the Empire. Which is something I like. I'd love this for you guys to switch sides. I mean, that'd be crazy. I don't know what I'd even do as the Allies. I'd be like, okay, can I just surrender to Japan? I don't know. It would be awesome. I think in the far future, if we ever did have a second game, I think what we'd probably do here then is like, probably have a few mods here. So for example, obviously we'd have stacking limits, and then try to make the game more realistic perhaps. That's why I'm here to learn. Oh, that's awesome stuff. That's great. Yeah, I'd say if you watch this series, you'll be able to learn from a lot of the mistakes I've made, and we have definitely learned a lot. But the best way to learn is obviously join me live streams, ask questions, and we'll do our best to answer it. If I can't answer it, I'm sure somebody in the chat can. But indeed, we lost a lot of men out here at Mersing. We lost an important battleship, and we have learned from that loss. Though the Battle of Mersing still continues, which is rather interesting. And it's been really good actually to see here just how important the terrain is, and just how dangerous it can be for the enemy to allow a force to remain. So I think we have to learn that lesson here, that if we are to defeat the enemy, we can't give any quarters. We have to just annihilate them immediately. We can't just like not do it. We can't hold off. It's just not gonna happen. Indeed, Empire. Okay, so I can see some ships out here. LST's okay. Intriguing. These are actually cargo ships supposedly. Now that is something I do find interesting. Okay. Now he's lacking actual fighters and yeah, actual aircraft out here. We might want to look towards actually bringing some bombers in here to actually try and hit these ships. That'd be intriguing. Okay, but let's take a look at over here then. So we can see that we do have the first SLLF headed towards Mount Band. Wow, okay, don't know what that thing was. See, I've still got this set up over here from Slytherin, and I really don't know how you turn it off, so I'm just going to remove that for the time being, because that scared the ever-living hell out of me last night. So I'm sorry for those of you who have just literally shut themselves. You're in good company, because I did that last night. It did scare the ever-living hell out of me. Still hoping that Matrix isn't too mad at me. Oh, I can't believe I started a stream on bloody their Twitch channel. I mean, that is some major shilling. Okay. They're gonna be mad. Oh dear. Okay. I think what we'll do here then is we'll actually save the game, and then we'll open it up in the actual tracker. We'll still continue to go through a few things here just to finish up. But as you can see, we're about halfway there, just over halfway there to Mount Ban, which is good. We know he has a few forces here. I think it was a couple of AFVs, and they're obviously trapped here. He's literally booted my plans. Yeah, don't worry about that, you're in good company. Okay, so we have arrived over here then at this unpronounceable city. And so we're going to launch a shock attack over here, obviously, to take it. Now, you're actually about maybe a day out from Clark. You've made some very good progress there. That's nasty. Okay. We may want to actually hold off. Maybe. I don't know. What do you guys think then? So we have a division here that has practically no fatigue. It's a division with 427 assault value. But I'd rather, I don't know, I might have them head in with the other division here. We take a look at the amount of guns there, 419, 288 assault, well, AFVs. If we take a look over here, we only have 120 guns. I'm going to have them hold off. I reckon I'm going to have them hold off. Because then we can actually take control of the base there. We'll have two divisions, we'll have additional artillery moving alongside them as well, which is obviously going to be a lot safer. And it means that obviously once we do actually hit Clark, we are hitting it with all of our forces rather than just piecemeal. So therefore we'll take less losses and inflict more upon the enemy. So I think we'll actually hold off there. Just remain here at Manila for the time being. We've made that progress pretty quickly. It'll only take us a couple days to head back out there. So, yeah, 4 fatigue and 0 disruption. So they're good, they're pretty fresh. They are ready. They are ready, but the thing is, I don't know, would you guys reckon we can get it? I'm a little bit worried about the number of guns and AFVs there. That's the thing that worries me. I mean, we are closing in now on Clark. As you can see here, we have men all here. These men are obviously behind our lines. And we're closing in. These are going to be the final days of the American garrison in the Philippines. Of course, they will hold on here at Patan. Now, he does have those LSTs over there. I wonder if he's actually trying to get them out. I wonder. Yeah, that's what I'm really leaning towards, is like having that combined operation. I think it's one of those things of we'd take less losses and inflict more losses upon the enemy. I mean, I'm obviously open to a debate there. Open to a debate on that one for sure. Yeah, definitely. We do have a decent base out here. Which one is it? I think it is this base we're actually using here. As we have base armor reconnaissance aircraft out here. And we do have some fighters, of course. Okay. Well, let's go through the operations report actually first and foremost. Right. So we do finally occupy this base here. So that would have been this island here, yeah, which was actually still considered US. So we've finally taken control of that, so that's under our control now. So all of this area here is Japanese. Yeah, the actual patrol boat Choco Maru finally does go down. It's a shame actually, because she actually did make it into Nagasaki. Right. 195 lays defensive minefield at Fusan. Loading resources there, okay. Task force is 4 out of fuel, we'll have to check that. Could not completely load troops at Tarawa, San Fernando, and Opari. LIDD is reported hit, supposedly. F1M2P reports sighting 3 allied ships at 10055 near Mopo. Speed 10 moving west. We'll check that one out later. G4M1 reports periscope, reports suspected submarine. Can't sink the first? With land-based bombers, or does Clark still have too many active fighters? Oh, the LST, okay. So I was like looking at that as if it was a number. I don't know if we actually have bombers. I can't remember if we actually have bombers out here. I know we definitely have the Ki-27s. Yeah, we just have the Ki-27s at the moment. I mean, I could move the Ki-21 Sallies out there. And we do have quite a few of these stars which we could actually move into the Philippines and to be obviously used against the enemy, which is quite good. I mean, they do a lot of damage to him. He thinks he's really toothless when it comes to the bombers, but he doesn't realize we still have squadrons of bombers. And speaking of which, we'll take a look at this. Abandoned Task Force 74. We'll take a look at that one and decide what the hell it actually is. Okay, so we can actually see here that, yeah, we have more of our K-21-2As back. 13, 10, 8... I really wish we didn't have that bloody mistake a few turns ago, because we would have been in a much better situation right now. What bothers me is he laughed, and he fucking laughed his ass off. But oh well, we all make mistakes, and he'll make a mistake one day, and he might have made a mistake once that we profited from, so I can't get my knickers in a twist, can I? Okay. Now, this is what I want to take a look at. So you can see an additional transport has arrived. Okay, yep, 4 of them arrived over here, so that is an additional 1,267 Imperial personnel. Good, you're unloading supplies over here, so you're basically done. So what I'll do is undock you. We do have a few supplies here on the island. Right, you are carrying quite a lot of supplies as well, which is good news. So yeah, we'll be able to actually increase the amount of personnel on the island. Mostly engineers is what I'm looking for, aviation support. We don't have it as of yet, but let's take a look. So this is the section that was already on the island. The 5th base force is what's landing here. So we'll have them in combat mode, so that's going to take them about 2 days to unpack. But as you can see, only naval support and support has arrived here at the moment. And we do have another 2 sections of the convoy to arrive. That's good. These guys are carrying 1,484 of them and the equipment there. These guys are carrying the other half of the equipment and another 1,000 plus personnel. That's good. So yes, we'll soon have Wake turned into a actual fully functional base there. So we can see he has at least 6 submarines in the area. The good news is they're currently not near anything of value, and we can get around them. Okay, we do have our AV out here, obviously we do need to be careful. The threat is the fact that, well, I have 55,000 units of fuel here that needs to get to KYJ. So I think all we need to do here then is really just absolutely throw patrol boats at these submarines and really try to dissuade them from this area. We cannot simply allow DHG to cut off the Marsh Islands. We can't. I need the fuel there. If I can't get into the KYJ, we can always have it moved elsewhere. It's not essentially needed here at KYJ, but it would be nice to have it somewhere protected. We do have a lot of fuel over here to truck. Obviously, we will make use of that. 169,000 tons. And the good news is once these tankers arrive in the area, I can actually have them take fuel from truck or obviously have it passed around this way. So we can see here that we do have quite a lot of mines there. The port is still being expanded, which is fantastic. Okay. And while in the area was the detection of Congo. We'll take a quick look. So Congo is unnoticed, apparently. Yep, he doesn't seem to know. Okay. We need to decide what we're going to do here. I still support, obviously, the Southern Borneo campaign, which is going to be getting kickstarted at some point in the future. 23rd Air Flotilla will be arriving soon. We can see here the aviation. Yep, okay, Saigon Maruva. If we take a look over here, we can see the 21st Air Flotilla is on its way. Okay. 2 AMCs over here. Love these AMCs. These guys are amazing. I'm going to make so much use of them throughout the campaign. It's going to be ridiculous. Now, I do have some aircraft out here on Saipan. One of them currently in reserve. I'm actually going to take that back to the pool. No. I don't think you can actually upgrade. And I could actually have you transfer to the AMC over there. So I'm going to do that. Transfer you. Moving this group to the shore roll. Maru will result in loss of some planes in order for the ships to continue air operations. Okay, that's not good. Divide the unit. There we go. Transfer to the ship. There we go. So that's 2 float planes now on board here, which is fantastic. Exactly what we needed. We'll have them run round-the-clock search. Southern Philippines may give you some grief on the way to Southern Borneo. Exactly, which is why the 56th Division, yeah, the 56th Division over here, is going to be hitting Mindanao first. We're going to land over here at Mindanao. I think what we might do is actually divide up the 56th and hit it. Now, of course, we do have those troops that are heading out here. What we might do then is they're currently on their way to Bab al-Dawab. What I may do is, I mean, it depends really on the situation. We might even have the divisions actually hit down here. But I think what we'll do is obviously have these troops here due to the fact they're planned. But we'll, I don't know, I could always use them to actually hit Mindanao and then move over here. But it's one of these things I'd like to have things happen at the same time. And can you send some ships to intercept some of these transports near the Philippines? It depends really. We might be able to send something down here. But the thing is, I'm not going to be wasting my time with some small ships. And these guys over here are obviously a nice target, but... well, what I need to do is actually just head down here to the Sulu Sea. I think what we might do then is actually have the Singapore Express. I mean, she's pretty damn powerful. I may just take the Singapore Express and have them actually operate down there. Well, at least begin to move down there now. We do then obviously have a Singapore Express Vanguard, which is actually quite a lot of surface assets that we could use around this area. Question is going to be how do we particularly use them, but it might be useful to obviously retain some surface warship capability here in the Gulf of Siam just in case. But then again, it's going to be, it's one of these things of where it's a very much a dynamic and flowing campaign of which we really don't know what to expect from the enemy, so we should really try to prepare for all things to a certain degree. Okay. Cebu would be a nice island to take there. You take a look at the manpower, well, sorry, the resources and light industry. Superb little island. Superb little island. There's a lot of resources out here in the Philippines that we can actually make use of in the long run. Now we do have our base over here at Samal that was fallen under our control, which is great. Yeah, we need to take Mindanao. We can see that it does have some AMs here. The good news is we do have 2 squadrons of G4s. So, yeah, we can have them watch this area. We do have the A5M4 squadron over here. Now, we could, in theory, have them upgrade to the A6M20 platform. If we take a look. So, no upgrades possible as of yet. Supposedly, lack of supply, or they need, well, they need that airfield. I think if you have sufficient aviation support, it reduces that. So obviously we need that. Hello there, Lorenzo. How you do, my friend? You've been a long-term viewer, man, and you know what? That really does honour me. It really honours me just by the fact that you guys come back night after night. Stream after stream, video after video. I always love that. And it's truly humbling. And I really do appreciate you guys. It's awesome. I'd like to say that you guys are my friends. That's either very sad or very touching. I hope you guys will see it one way or the other. Okay. Right, so we have more or less done our roundup of the turn. Give or take. We'll take a look through here at the rest of these results. Allied floatplane sighted over Canton Island, so obviously he's aware of Canton Island. Well, obviously he knows that Canton Island's been retaken, he knows that one. The A620 from Zuho is damaged. Right, we're still seeing planes obviously grounded here. And we do see one of our pilots killed here. That's a shame. Yeah, lots of submarine activity. Allied torpedo bomber sighted over Lucena. Fighters over San Fernando, Canton Island, aircraft sighted, Lucena. So these are the Philippine islands, well, Philippine bases, I should say. 047A sighted over Lucena. Indeed, indeed. Next turn, awesome, isn't it? So it seems like the major flood in there, so that's a shame, that's why she went down. Right. The light cruiser Java, reported to have been sunk near Mersing, is reported to have been sunk. These guys are very interesting, the Special Base Force. We'll take a look at them. Check the spot of allied task forces you never did. We'll take a look at that actually in a moment. You should replace the lost zeros of your CV and Malaya first before you upgrade the 85s at inactive places. And that's true. The reason why I'd consider upgrading the other squadrons beforehand is because I'm very conscious of the fact that we have stripped the Marshall Islands of all fighter defense. It's like, the thing is, it's like, I don't know where his carriers are. I mean, I thought they might have been down at Auckland, but I'm not seeing evidence of that. Supposedly we're seeing a bloody battleship, and I really doubt that quite heavily. So the question comes down to, are they at Auckland? Are they in New Zealand? I'm probably going to say no. It's a shame, because obviously I was hoping for some confirmation of where they could have bloody well been. But, yeah, we can see that obviously that is not the case. As far as I can tell, they might be within port. They might have actually left the area due to the fact that my submarines are coming, but who knows? It just seems like we don't know where they are. I mean, that said, I have no confirmation of carriers so far. So I don't have a bloody clue. So, it's bloody harsh. Wish we knew. So this is why I'm really considering actually having fighters once again sent to the Marshall Islands. I don't think anything other than an A672 Zero is going to be worth our time here. I mean, the actual Zeros would be very effective, because obviously we have the G4s, we have the G3s. The G3s operate out to 18 hexes, the G4s operate to 21 hexes. It would be superb to actually have fighter escort out at about 14 hexes, because then what I could do is actually have the G3s and G4s run escorted attack missions out to 14 hexes, which is all the difference in the world. Anything in signal intelligence. We'll take a look. Last turn you said you spotted it, pal. I mean, we did have some sort of carrier report. I don't think I ever saw that. I don't know, maybe. I kind of forgot about that one, but I mean, I suppose that is the best we've actually had for a while. It might have been a misidentification, I do not know, but I mean, we can try and follow up. Okay, so heavy volume of radio transmissions detected at Pearl Harbor. Transmissions detected at Auckland. Okay, heavy radio transmissions detected at San Diego, so I think we need to close in around San Diego. I wonder if that BB spotted outside New Zealand is in fact a CV. I mean, I would be very interested to see if that was the case. I think we'll try to intercept that force there. The base here at Auckland is too large for me to actually slip in there with the submarines. I'm not going to be able to slip into... Well, I'm not going to be able to slide into Auckland's DMs. I remember something about that report there. I don't think I must have missed it in the turn myself, but I remember you guys talking about it, so we'll check it out. We'll check it out at some point. And obviously it would be nice, if it was true. I mean, this is it. If it is true, then what does that mean for us? Okay, so let's theorycraft then. Let's do a little bit of theorycrafting. So let's go with the assumption that the actual carrier report from potentially a few turns ago is actually somewhat accurate, and there is supposedly Allied carrier activity at Pearl Harbor, which I find... I don't know if I could believe it or disbelieve it. This is the thing, I don't know if I could disbelieve it or believe it. I'm going to say, I'm just going to go hazarding a guess on that and say potentially, let's say there's potentially carriers there at Pearl Harbor. Last turn there was a report of a CA near Pearl. That is true, we haven't actually seen that. I mean, capital ships can be mistaken for heavy cruisers, and heavy cruisers can be mistaken for capital ships. So we do have to bear that in mind, don't we? So, okay, let's go with a theory then. Because at the moment we can see that there aren't any carriers here, as far as we know. I mean, there's like a force out here moving southwest, thankfully moving southwest, which I'm going to actually try and get the hell in there. And if that's a bloody heavy cruiser or two, I'd be so very happy to actually torpedo the living hell out of that. I don't know, the signs around Pearl Harbor are interesting. I mean, let's really go over what we've seen over here at Hawaii. We've been seeing increasing amount of activity in the last few turns. I mean, obviously that could make sense due to the fact that he's seen that perhaps we are putting our submarines out, or... I mean, I don't think he's lost detection of them, because obviously he's going to have a lot of aircraft around here at Pearl Harbor. But his activity has been increasing nonetheless. We have been seeing warships moving to and from Hawaii. We did see some actually moving south from Hawaii a few times ago. It's hard to say. We have warships here at Johnson Island. What could he be planning? What could he be planning here at Johnson Island and just indeed planning the Hawaiian Islands? I mean, is he potentially thinking on... I don't know, does he intend to actually hit Midway? Finally, my weed delivery came. Dude, that sounds awesome. Never tried it, but it does... I don't know, people make out as if it sounds awesome, and it sounds chill, so whatever, enjoy. All good. Okay. Day operations. I'd group the 2 submarines outside Auckland into 1 task force and attack en masse. Yeah, I'd say probably. We can give it a go. Give it a go. And I can get high and think outside the box. I like that one, that's pretty awesome. Okay, so I-9 and I-17. We'll give it a go then. Moving southwest. It looks like it's actually heading towards Auckland anyhow. Okay. What we'll do then is we'll remain in this location here. I'll put them on high threat tolerance. Do I have a float plane? I actually do have 2 float planes, don't I? What we'll do then is we'll switch this up to naval search. There we go. Now, do I want both of them to run naval search in the day, or do I want one of them to run night operations? I suppose I could run night operations. Yeah, hell yeah, we'll run night operations, actually. And this is it, we actually didn't have that capability beforehand, but now that we have 2 of these bad boys, then hell yeah, well, let's do it. That sounds good. Heavy cruisers have similar dimensions to other battleships, so it's easy to misidentify them regarding the battleship near New Zealand. I think it's a heavy cruiser because we have seen many heavy cruisers and light cruisers in that area. Yeah, I'd agree on that one. I'd agree on that one. We did see a large amount of heavy cruisers north towards like Canton Island, and then obviously towards like Funafuti. That never actually did hit. And we did see cruisers out this way. I think there's some forces still left over here at Fiji. I doubt he'd take everything. But we did see some light cruisers out here. We did actually try and intercept them. So that could have been that force, but I don't know. It's interesting. It could be that the majority of his heavy cruisers are now down in this area. You know what I'd love? I'd be so excited if we actually did manage, just through sheer chance, to actually find that opportune moment. That moment of least resistance to actually break through here at the South Pacific. And of course I'm worried about the situation in New Caledonia due to the actual amount of supplies. I mean, the thing is, it's like, what I potentially do here is try to fly supplies in from the air, which I could potentially do. Now, I could move the H6K force to, like, Guadalcanal, perhaps, and have them fly in. I could even have them fly in from Funafuti, perhaps. That could be quite good. Why don't you have them directly shadow the task force? The thing is, the task force isn't going to remain stationary. It looks as though it's actually heading towards Auckland, so I'm going to stay there at Auckland. At least then I'd be able to have a greater chance of actually intercepting them, which would be really quite good. Yeah, I reckon that's the best chance we'll get there. We'll go with that. We'll go with that. Unless he thinks he's going for New Zealand. In any case, it's a few warships to sink, possibly in deep water. Yeah, that's it. I mean, obviously having the deep water does give us a major advantage there. I mean, if I take a look, yeah, we have deep ocean here, which is obviously what we want. I mean, it looks as though they're headed towards us. The heavy ships we can have a good shot at. I mean, the light cruisers we have a shot at. What do we have in terms of actual torpedo munitions? We are at 83% here, so we have 12 torpedo tubes there. That's fucking fantastic. Hell yeah. And this is actually going to be a really fantastic way to actually experiment with the combined submarine operations. I'm looking forward to it. I'm genuinely looking forward to it, and I'd like to see what we can achieve here. Okay. So let's really, I mean, this is it. It's actually really good. I'm really quite happy here, ladies and gentlemen. Things are going swimmingly so far. It's all starting to come together now, which is amazing. How many hours, like, you tell me, guys, how many hours have we spent obsessing over this area? And now the operation is finally beginning. We're finally getting down here. We're finally getting to a point at which New Caledonia may be very well within our grasp, and we can actually really extend this war down here into the South Pacific and drive a real wedge between the Americas and Asia, Australia, India. We'll divide them. That's what I like. We're going to be able to manage this. We can do this, guys. Ideally, anyhow. I don't know what really we are going to expect down here, but we need to. We absolutely bloody well need to get in here. So what we're going to do here is take a look at the coral reefs. So you can see here, obviously, when we press F6, so we can see these red lines indicate that we can't move through here. So we could move like up, or we can move like sideways. Which is interesting, because you can see here, he's going to have to come to this position to actually enter into Noumea. I mean, the port here at Noumea is actually not a large one. I think what we need to do is patrol around Noumea, but I don't know if we can actually attack Noumea. We have no idea what actually is there. I wonder if those subs outside the marshals is a scout force. Well, yeah. I mean, go to 839 Allied CV. I'm like, I'll believe you. I'm not gonna watch my own video because that'd be kind of weird. It'd be real. And I don't know what I sound like, so that's weird. I like sound weird. I don't know. I'm gonna go for that. That's really awesome, though. Okay, so we have evidence that there's supposedly carriers then at Pearl Harbor. Right. I don't know, guys. Like, what do we think here? Do we actually suspect an attack on the Marshall Islands? I mean, this is entirely possible, and this is something that very well could be in progress. And I suppose this is it. What's true for us is true for him. I mean, how did we actually begin the operation at the South Pacific? We began it with submarines, didn't we? We began it with submarines, obviously gaining an idea of what's in the area, to obviously trying to intercept enemy forces in the area to force them to react. Maybe he is planning to hit the Marshall Islands. Maybe this is a US counterattack. It could make sense. I mean, he has destroyers based at Johnston Island. I mean, there's no reason for them to be based there. He has an increasing amount of activity at Pearl Harbor. Maybe they are at Pearl Harbor. I'm gonna say that they are at Pearl Harbor. Okay, we'll go with the working assumption that the enemy is at Pearl Harbor. 180-107 was the coordinates. They're at Pearl Harbor. It was blue, so it was confirmed. I don't know what the colour actually means there, but interesting. Counterattack in less than a month. Do you think he has enough to work with? And what's that question right now? And the question is, have we actually discovered where the American carriers are? Now, Carl did link a previous video where it actually did have a report. And it was one that we discussed, but it was one I missed during the actual stream at the time. But it's the only information that we have regarding Allied carrier activity. So yeah, we'll go with the assumption that the enemy carriers are at Pearl Harbor. We'll go with that assumption. So let's go over our possible responses here. So I'd say if we are to expect a American counterattack at the Marshall Islands, which is very much a possibility here, let's assess what we can do here. Well, we have... I mean, the Air Force is going to be the major thing here. That is going to be the major thing here to actually repulse the enemy. As we can see that we do have 27 G3M2 nows, we have 27 G4M1 nows. And what does it mean if they are at Pearl? Well, the thing is, we've had no idea where the American carriers have been for the campaign, so this is incredible news. And this means that they are, in fact, too distant to actually aid here at the Battle of Fiji, at the Battle of the South Pacific. Now, I think he actually gains a 4th carrier, either now or relatively soon. He'll gain another American carrier in the days to come. So, in these days to come then, what could we actually expect from the Americans? Now, I'd imagine that not all of these battleships were damaged. I'd imagine that some of these battleships might have even been repaired. So there's a very real possibility here that we could be looking at an American counterattack. We might actually see... That means operations themselves are nearly guaranteed. Perhaps this is it. I reckon. Okay, we're gonna go with the operation. We'll go with the assumption here that he's going to be launching an operation against the Marshall Islands. So we are going to have the old cogs a ticking here. The old cogs are whirling. And so we'll go with the assumption here that he is going to be attacking towards the Marshall Islands or potentially towards the South Pacific. I doubt he would go for the South Pacific, considering the fact that obviously we're going to have Kitabuta in that area. Not that he knows that yet. Well, at least I don't think he knows that. As you know at least one is at Pearl. Yeah, I mean, that's it. The chance of success just went up a lot. We always would have the success down there of South Pacific. But if we take a look at the distance here, then let's try and do some theory crafting. 52 hexes from Pearl Harbor to KYJ. I mean, this is assuming that the carriers, if they are in fact there, have not already set off. So we'll go ahead and assume that they haven't set off if we're that lucky. So we'll take a look then. So 52 hexes divided by... I mean, at full speed, well, I don't know, he might be making about 5 hexes, 6 hexes. I'm going to go with the assumption that... Let's go with the assumption he's going to make full speed. So we'll go with the assumption that he's making 8 hexes per day. So he could be here at the Marshall Islands in about 6.5 days. So he could be here within 7 days, give or take. 6 or 7 days. Need to get your subs to refuel and swarm at Hawaii. We'll have the 3 submarines actually patrol directly outside Hawaii. We do have 3 submarines over here at Johnson Island, so that's actually very handy. Now, these submarines... Do we have a float plane here? I don't. We are low in ammunition as well. Don't think his BBs are repaired, at least not if you send them to the west coast for their repair capacity. The standards are too slow for that. Well, I don't know, he might be willing to actually take a battleship out of port that might have been lightly damaged. He might well do that. He could, of course, have heavy cruisers, perhaps. We didn't do a major amount of damage at Pearl Harbor. We did damage the vast majority of his battleships, but we didn't sink any of them. As far as I can tell, we didn't sink any of them. We did... I don't know, how much damage could he really repair in the meantime? He might have initiated, like, priority repairs for, like, certain battleships, so perhaps maybe the least damaged battleship he has. Yeah. Okay. I think we are going to have to spend a long time really thinking over this one. Doesn't Pearl have repair facilities? Pearl Harbor has very large repair facilities. She has 101,000 tons of capacity. So you could have actually initiated like priority repair on like 2 or 3 battleships, even 4 battleships potentially. So, yeah, we did have a bad Pearl Harbor attack. It was even bloody worse because I fucked up there and lost a few zeros. But yeah, he very well could have battleships maybe ready again. Who knows? Right. Yeah, it could have been. It could have actually been a battleship actually heading out from Pearl Harbor. And no, we weren't allowed a second attack. See, we did have a few bloody misunderstandings. Like, I misunderstood the house rules and the fact of, like, not hunting the enemy CVs. And apparently that was only for the first turn and not, like, the turns afterwards. And so in reality I could have been hunting his CVs from, like, day 2, but I didn't realise about that. But hey, you learn, don't you? You learn. Right. Okay. Yeah, I think most of them have lost it. Okay, well, what we have then in terms of actual responses, we do have, let's see. So I do have another 2 squadrons of G4M1s out here. I mean, not in as great numbers. But if we take a look at the fact of Truck's defenses, now Truck has 2 squadrons as well. So I have 36 G3M2s and we also have 27 G4M1s. You know. So I still have the 24th base here. Yes, the 24th Air Flotilla. I don't know why that's in red. That's really weird. Right. Okay, begin expanding the base here to KYJ. Because that's the issue, we don't really have a very large base. We do have a very large base over here. Yes. Well, what we could do here then at KYJ. Now. Is this base force the one that has just arrived? I think this one's just arrived out here. We'll double check which ones have arrived this turn. Okay, so we have a base force arrive here at KYJ. That's fantastic. We do have a couple more over here. I think what we need to do then is grab some of these base forces, like for example over here, and have them actually transferred to Roynemur. But we have gained another base force here. That's fantastic. And so the Kawajiline, however the hell we pronounce it, base force has arrived. So that's good news, because obviously that does gain us another 9 guns. Obviously, most of them aren't useful. But that's additional engineers, additional naval support, and aviation support, which is obviously what we want. Yes, we are over our capacity quite heavily here. I think what we'll do then is actually spread some of these actual float planes amongst these islands that obviously have received these new base forces. See, I do have the 15th base force over here. Right, we'll check that. Okay, so Kiributai has been detected. Yep, Kiributai has been detected. That is, that's gonna certainly, yeah. We'll double check here. Now, he may not have actually spotted them via float plane. So it might not be a clear cut thing yet. I'm not seeing it as saying like Task Force 1 reports being spotted. What's the actual detection here? 2 out of 5. It may be down to his intelligence, but he'll have some idea. Yeah, I know, it's not the greatest thing, isn't it? The good news is that the other ships have not been spotted, which is fantastic. So New Caledonia Express, the Luganville Express, unspotted, the New Landing Force unspotted, the battleships are unspotted. So he doesn't have a clear idea of what exactly we have here. But I suppose this is like a poetic thing, isn't it? We now have a race against time. I think we do have to prepare the Marshall Islands for an immediate counterattack. I think it is going to be coming in the next few days, and we do need to very much prepare for that. Tarawa is going to be under threat. We do need to look at actually having something to protect Tarawa here. What are we looking at in terms of aviation support here at Tarawa then? Right, 19 plus 40. We are now finally building the base. Obviously, we'll have additional engineers landed here. But where Kidabutai is at, it's hard to tell where you're going to attack. Many options all around you. He has to question if he knows. Well, this is it. I mean, we obviously have landed here at the Solomon Islands and Guadalcanal. So he may suspect we're in fact heading towards this area, maybe. I mean, that would be the best case scenario. That would be the absolute best case scenario that he might actually think we're heading to the north there. Now, unless he actually has a float plane, he might not actually have an idea of where we're heading. I mean, look at that. That's over 250,000 tons of steel there. I think we need to continue with the plan, but I think we need to be quite bold now. I think we are going to have to consider speeding up operations here. It might be potentially we speed up our actual amphibious landings. Now we're making maximum speed here, so it's still going to take a couple days. Let's see, so 19 hexes, it's going to take us a few days to arrive in the area. I think we are going to have to go out there and use Kidabutai to open up the door. So we'll be there in about 6 days. Give or take. Do you have combat air patrol over Kidabutai? Yes, each squadron is running about 30% here. So, I don't think it was a float plane, because I think a float plane would have been shot down. I think it was actually signal intelligence. Well, we're going to have Kidabutai make her way down to the other side of the New Hebrides Islands, about this area here. But I suppose the thing is, we'll assume that he knows where Kidabutai is now, because it's very likely he'll know. If he doesn't know, then I'd be amazed. We have an idea of where the American carriers are. We're in a really interesting situation here. Yeah, I'd imagine. I'm going to go with the assumption that we have been spotted ourselves, which is a shame, because had we not been spotted here at Duff Island, it would have been fantastic. But the good news is, if we've only just been spotted, then at least he's not going to have too much in the way of time to actually react to this. It's a shame that if we have, but we'll make do with that. We have a lot to consider here. Hello there, Cola. Well, Cola, we've had some very interesting results here. We might have had Kidabutai spotted, but we have actually gone over a previous report from one of the earlier turns, and it actually is looking very likely that the American carriers are here at Pearl Harbor. And we have successfully managed to land at Buin and the Solomon Islands. Well, sorry, Guadalcanal and the Solomon Islands. So these will fall next turn, and we'll just have those available. We're a few days out from the actual New Caledonia operation beginning in earnest. We did sink 2 additional submarines. He may not even chase it if the intelligence was incorrect. Yeah, I don't think he can stop this. I think he's planning to take a hit but counter somewhere, an eye for an eye. I think we are going to have to genuinely consider the fact that it might be the Marshall Islands. Now, the good news about the Marshall Islands is we can actually reinforce here pretty damn quickly. Like, I could actually dispatch another 2 naval bomber squadrons. I could actually even, if I so bloody well wish, I could actually dispatch all 6 naval bomber squadrons to this area. And I'd be pretty damn able to actually arm them all with torpedoes. It'd be tight to the airfield, but we'd be able to bloody well do it. If he so pushes us to that. But I wouldn't like to do that. Yeah, that's true. I'm not gonna... As much as I wish, I don't have the fuel to be pushing here at top speed. Even these actual... I mean, maybe these guys could be pushed, but we don't have a huge amount of fuel to do so. Honestly, if we rush us, we're gonna lose the war, pretty much. Well, the situation is he cannot challenge us down here. He can make it difficult, but he can't challenge us. We have more than enough power to actually defeat him here completely. We don't have to spend too much time doing so. It might be that, in fact, we have Kitabutai remain in the area for a short period of time. If his carriers aren't here, then we don't have to worry about our surface vessels to a great degree. I can actually leave the battleships and the heavy cruisers to really look after them for the most part. Which would then free up our carriers to head north back towards the Marsh Islands, perhaps. So this should be like a 5-episode turn. Might want to go ahead and start moving air units near KYJ. Yeah. I need these aircraft repaired. Right, just one more aircraft. These guys over here. 2 of them will be ready in the next week. This guy's going to be at least 2 weeks. You're not running any reconnaissance here at the moment. Stalemate is bad for the Japanese in the long run. If he can get stalemates and trades and delay your progress as much as possible, he's winning. You have to take these islands to defend his attacks, pretty much. Defeat his attacks. Honestly, though, you can save time later if you go through and make notes of yourself what's happening to win each sub and each ship will be looked at. I mean, to be fair, we do go through it. The issue is it's a matter of time. It's like, it's a difficult thing to really keep up with. Which is why I do rely on you guys to actually give me a massive, help in hand here. I'm pretty good at remembering most of what's actually going on, unless it's something that obscure or something we don't touch upon for a couple of turns, then I do end up forgetting about it. But for the most part, I'm not too bad. But it is obviously a good idea. See, I'd like to be moving you out. Numair's a jungle hex, right? So if his AV is doubled, even a smaller force might defeat you. Yeah, perhaps. The thing is, it's like New Caledonia has a road infrastructure there, but the bloody thing is all jungles. Can you get any float planes to Miri and scout from there? Yeah, I'll be taking a look at that one in a short time. From... See, I do have a Chichijima special base force on the way. That's good. I think what I'll do then is have the special base force actually diverted to Roinmer. Now, you're on board the AMC, so you could make some pretty damn good progress. I could increase the speed, but obviously that's going to put wear and tear on the actual AMC here. It's going to burn a lot of fuel. We'll be there in a few days anyhow, so that's a good news. Okay, so we had a lot of interesting results here. I love the logic on this. But let's go ahead and take a look at this turn in the actual track event. So turn 24, part 1. You'd be able to get long-range planes to look around those choke points and the Celibate Sea. Yep, that's true. We do have some reconnaissance planes there, but we don't have anything like long-range. I'm really moving the vast majority of my H6K4s. Well, in fact, all of the H6K4s could be in the Pacific for the most part. Okay, we'll go ahead and take a look at the tracker. Right then. So we'll read the new turn here. Okay. Oh, it might be the Minikazes have actually finished there. We'll take a look at that one. But that's pretty awesome if they actually have. I'd be very happy with that. Okay. Awesome. Let's take a look then. Current turn. Have they actually? I'm not entirely sure. Still complaining about vehicle punches, I find interesting. Supposedly we lost the base at Xinjiang. Obviously that was the Chinese moving back in. But that's fine, obviously we'll be able to eject them pretty soon. Taking control there of Georgetown. As we saw. It's complaining there about the lack of supply, but that's not too bad. Okay. Repair completed here, supposedly. Yep, sunk with 2 ships here, the Roof Alexander and the Malpasa. I'd be very interested to know what the Roof Alexander had in the Malpasa. Ideally, they contained supply that would have been useful, or at least something useful for him. Yep, resource. Yeah, okay. These land units have arrived. New leaders. Aircraft have upgraded. Group size changed. Okay, we'll take a look at our production here. Building. So we are producing about 28 H6K4s per month. We actually have a pretty good capacity for those. We'll be producing about 30, yeah, about 1 per day pretty much, is what we're going to be aiming towards. We produce about 1 G3M2 per day. We are producing 1.2 G4 M1s per day, so that number's going up. 1.8 KI-21 2A Sallies at the moment, upping that number quite nicely. As you can imagine, that'd be very welcomed. Oscar production has finally eclipsed that of the A672-0, so that's a nice result there. As we are going to see increased numbers of Ki-43-1Cs in the skies in the future. You can see here up to 11 in the pool, we have 14 zeros in the pool, and each zero is bloody well precious. Okay. And we'll take a look at our industry then. We are going to have to take a look at the amount of armament. Yep, so we can see that number has gone down quite a lot then, actually. We might even have less time than we actually imagined. Yeah, we used 1,000 armament there. That might be due to the fact that our new forces have arrived there. It's going to be within the next 2 turns that we really have to restart armament production. We've been able to get away with it for the last few turns, but we are going to have to look at it. So let's take a look at the resources. Oil resources. Japan. Let's take a look. I sit at work looking at graphs like this and people don't even have a clue. I am looking at my game starts. Only time I have to look at all this data. I know, right? It looks awesome, doesn't it? Okay, so we haven't seen this trend reversed yet. We are still seeing... I mean, supply has been increasing for the last 4 turns, which is obviously fantastic. Resources is down to 4.753 million tons, but that's still pretty damn good. That's still higher than here. Higher than we were. I mean, this is it. We have numbers that are basically the same as the numbers that we had in turn 5. So we are starting to reverse the resource deficit in the Japanese home islands. Of course, though, we do need to bring the oil and the fuel. That's something that we need to do. But the resource is the immediate one that we need to worry about, because obviously that's going to be the one that goes first. It's awesome to think that we've had 25, technically 25 turns here. Crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. Right, China. It's a very up and down situation here. So we know that we are going to have to begin armament production within the next 2 to 3 days. 2 days probably at most. Right. Status. Okay, now if this number is actually accurate, we're looking at the 19th of February and the 5th of April. We'll double check that. Right, okay, so that number's actually not correct. We're looking at the 10th of April here. And the 8th of July? Intriguing. I'm really looking forward to having these bad boys. These are going to be some very nice carriers. Very nice carriers. It doesn't look as if they can carry that many torpedoes, but that's okay. We can make do with that. 24,140 ton carriers. These are going to be awesome. Not much in the way of armor there. Durability is not too bad at 84. AA protection is alright, actually. Obviously, we will want to have the radar. I mean, you take a look at Taiho. I mean, obviously, I'd love to have Taiho. She's a big old beastie. Her durability isn't that much larger, though. But she does have significantly more armor, so that's actually rather intriguing. Should Nano would have been amazing. 5 days sooner because it's accelerated. Ideally, it'd be sooner than that. I'm not entirely sure the numbers there are accurate. I mean, we'd obviously have to take a look at the historical arrival of the Yunyo. So let's take a look. When did the Yunyo carrier arrive? Okay. So historically, she arrived the 26th of June. I think she's going to arrive earlier then. The Hio class, or Hio. Completed 2, 1 lost, 1 scrapped. Okay. Right, Yunyo was the first sister ship to be completed in May 1942. Okay. Right then, so she arrived here while she was launched on the 24th of June 1941. '26th of June. Interesting. Okay. Well, I mean, this is it. It's like, if he does actually launch a counterattack on the Marsh Islands, it is actually going to be one of these places where we actually do have force to resist him, and we have the means to actually use torpedoes against him. We don't have a huge amount of surface assets in this area, but the thing is, we do have, do we have a coastal fortress over here at KYJ? I do have the Naimur Naval Fortress, so we do have 12 120mm guns there, as well as 8 80mm guns. It's the 120mm guns there that obviously are going to be the main things. But the thing is, it's not going to be able to do too much there. The 120mm guns are going to be able to see, obviously only really useful against like landing ships, or obviously landing craft. But it is obviously nice to have them. Naval Fortress, Naval Fortress, Naval Fortress, Naval Fortress. Okay, so we have Naval Fortresses all here. So that does protect our, I don't know, I suppose like southeastern flank to a degree. We do have Wake over here. I think Wake's going to be the big thing here. I definitely will have to land a squadron here of naval bombers. We are going to need them. Or do I? It might be that I actually base a squadron of patrol aircraft here. One at Wake, one at KYJ, and obviously keep one at Tarawa. We do have a few submarines around this area. Okay, you're going to be arriving next turn then, with the additional engineers. That's very good. Okay. Well, what we're going to do here is we are going to call the stream to an end here. But what we will be doing then in the next next stream, probably tomorrow. Depends actually, I'm playing D&D tomorrow, so maybe if I get a chance beforehand, but probably Monday. Yeah, probably Monday. We'll have some time to think about this, but we'll think about how we can go about defending the Marsh Islands. I think the thing is like, is he going to be brave enough to to attack the Marsh Islands? I doubt he's going to try and land troops here, because I don't think he has that capability to do so. It's way too damn risky. But he might very well have battleships that are ready. He will probably have a 4th aircraft carrier by that time. So his numbers do increase to the point at which they are very dangerous. I mean, they were always dangerous, but they are very dangerous. The only way I could really defeat that force is obviously having Kirbutai meet it. But it is going to come down to a thing of how to actually use our naval bombers. What I might do is actually have the A5M4s actually sent back to the Marsh Islands perhaps, or even have some fighters find their way out here. I think what we need to do is probably have perhaps an additional 1 naval bomber squadron, potentially another 2, maybe. He's on a respirator right now trying to get some breathing room, and I think Wake is the target too. Yeah, Wake could be hit. The thing about Wake is, it's like, unless, I mean, really was there to lose at Wake? I think the best case scenario here is we don't really base our aircraft. I might just run a couple patrol aircraft here from Wake. But the thing is with Wake, we have the Maizuru 2nd Special Naval Landing Forces over here, so we have over there, well, near enough 1,000 infantry, and obviously they're supporting infantry, well, and their bloody guns. So we do have the means to defend Wake Island. I'm going to actually have them begin planning for Johnston Island. That'd be nice. I'd very much like to take Johnston in the future. Because if we had Johnston here, it would give us some really advanced warning of what is to come. It'd be a very interesting situation. It'd be, I think, be one of those where he really wouldn't be expecting, because obviously then it's like he very much would be confined to the Hawaiian Islands here. We need to really give ourselves breathing room here. I need to delay the American response as long as possible and really try to be proactive. It's one of these things, it's like, with this revelation here about American carriers, it might be that we perhaps delay Kiributai being sent to the Dutch East Indies, because I can't really afford the American carriers to be prowling around here. It would reverse all the progress we made. We do have the capability to take the Dutch East Indies regardless, I should say, as we do still have the Singapore Express, which is also going to be moving down south here. We have additional forces here to hit the island of Mindanao, and obviously the southern coast of Borneo. And we are closing in now towards the southern Malayan, well, the south end of the Malayan Peninsula. We're going to force his hand. This is going to force his hand. The thing is, if he loses warships out here to aircraft, then they've served no purpose. And it will just strengthen us. He's had to commit resources here that he would have rather committed elsewhere. So I'm going to be extremely interested to see how this goes. But alas, we'll give it some time then. So I'd love for you guys then to actually have some time to think about this. Do feel free to chirp up in the Discord and we'll discuss things. So I'd like to thank you all so very much for watching. I would very much like to ask if those of you who wish to, you can go ahead and support my channel, myself, which honestly does make a big difference. It really does allow this to continue, because I can tell you this is quite a commitment, and I love it, but hey, food ain't free, unfortunately. But yeah, don't feel bad, guys. Obviously, if you can't donate, it's not like I'm begging you. At the end of the day, you guys are going to look after yourself first, and I really do support that. So you know what, I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and of course, guys and girls, I hope you guys and girls have a fantastic day, or evening, whatever you're doing. Spend some time with your families. Have some fun. Until next time, guys. See you later. It's been great. Very interesting turn. Much to do next turn. Goodbye for now.